Hello, welcome back to the channel, guys. It's your favorite homegirl Ashley, and I am so excited to be back with a new video. Today's video is going to be slightly different, but before I get into that, make sure that you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and interact with me down below in the comment section. Don't be shy. I like to talk. That's why I have a YouTube channel. So talk to me down below. Like I said, today's video is going to be a little bit different. Coming back to the channel, I wanted to incorporate new things, different things, and you know, I've spoken to other people and kind of gotten some advice from other people, and I wanted to start creating content that was kind of true to who I am and who I'm becoming. So today's video is actually going to be a book review. For those of you who don't know, my birthday recently passed, and instead of going out and buying myself, you know, clothes, shoes, jewelry, a new phone, I bought myself a box of books. Yes, I bought myself a box of books, and the books are actually sitting right there. And I'll actually go ahead and insert a clip. I decided to buy a box of books. You know, as I get older, I'm 25 now, and you know, nothing can replace knowledge. You know, nobody can take that away from you. Your knowledge and your intelligence is something that no one can ever take from you, and I really value that, and I want to incorporate that even in my child's life, that, you know, reading is something that is very great for the mind. And a lot of it for me was, I noticed myself, or I caught myself constantly allowing my mind to wander off into Never Never Land. And as I talked about in my life update, which I'll link in the cards if you haven't watched it, I talked about how you kind of have to control your mind.
You've got to watch your inner conversation and discipline your thinking and your imagination, because if you don't, your mind will take you on a wild trip. You've got to watch your inner conversation.
So instead of buying myself all of these things that kind of distracted me, I wanted to invest in something that would kind of channel me and, you know, keep me in alignment. So I decided to invest in books, right? Self-development is so powerful, and like I said, your level of intelligence and the level of knowledge that you've acquired throughout your life is something that nobody can take away from you. So I would say invest in that, definitely. But let's get into it. So I purchased a few books, but the book that grabbed my attention the most, that I decided to start with first, was a book by ARRINGTON. It's called Your Next Level Life: 7 Rules of Power, Confidence, and Opportunity for Black Women in America. When I purchased this book from Amazon, when I read the reviews were amazing. There were some mixed reviews, but I decided that for where I am right now in my life, that this would be a great book. And I read it in about 48 hours. It took me 2 days to read this book, and I fell in love. From the first chapter of this book, from the very first chapter, I fell in love. I started to get teary-eyed, kind of. And it's amazing, especially being a female entrepreneur, just hearing the stories of the women that have come before me. It's amazing. It truly is amazing. And each section is broken down into 7 rules, right? And the first rule is to identify your superpower. So that was something for me that I really needed, because, you know, I'm in a place kind of where I'm, super talented. I know how to do a little bit of everything, and it's kind of hard sometimes for me to decipher between what I love doing the most and what brings out the best in me. And it's super difficult when you're so skilled, or you just have a knack for like picking up on things really easy. It gets difficult because it's like, okay, what do I enjoy the most? What is the thing that brings out the best in me? So identifying your superpower for me was an awesome way to start this book, to start this read. In the beginning of every chapter, she has a quote, and I'll read you guys the first quote from rule number 1. So rule number 1 is to identify your superpower. The quote says, "You were born with priceless gifts. You might have a natural knack for singing, teaching, making people laugh, or inspiring a community to take action. Find your superpowers, own them, and leverage them like crazy." Now, guys, in my mind, I'm going crazy. I'm like, this woman is about to read my life, okay? And it's so crazy because that is my knack. I have the gift and the ability to inspire a community of people to take action. If you guys don't know, I run an online community that I created. It's a Facebook group called Boss Babe Cartel. And I have about over 4.4K women within this community. And they're all aspiring entrepreneurs or, entrepreneurs or full-time business owners. So to read that first chapter and have that aha moment right off the bat was kind of crazy. Like, that is my knack. I do have a knack for inspiring a community of people to take action. So she caught my attention from the beginning. Miss Karen definitely started this book with a bang for me. Okay. So let me go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little bit of the first page for you so you guys can kind of get a feel of what it was like for me reading this amazing book for the first time. So it begins, "I believe every woman has a set of superpowers waiting to be discovered. Oprah Winfrey, Ava DuVernay, Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, we all know these sisters and their superpowers. What comes to mind when you think about Oprah? What are her greatest superpowers? Perhaps you think about her grounded presence, her confidence when she's speaking on camera, or her ability to build something where nothing stood before, to build a school, to build a media empire, to build a movement. And then there's Ava's creativity and imagination, Michelle's poise and grace under pressure, and Kamala's courage and tenacity and grit. Just like these incredible women, you were also born with priceless gifts. These innate talents are your superpowers. Oftentimes, these superpowers are hidden for a variety of reasons. Perhaps because as a kid, lots of adults told you to tone it down and shut your mouth, or to stick to the plan, or because teachers told you that you were too quiet or too loud or too much, or because your schools encourage you to conform to the norm rather than shine, or because you were oppressed or neglected in some way, large or small. Let me ask you a question. Who were you before the world told you who you should be? Listen, Miss Karen, and after I read this book, I went and followed Miss Karen on Instagram, and she is the truth, okay? She is living it. She has lived it. She is in her entire bag, okay? Listen, I love this book. within the first 1 to 2 chapters, I started getting teary-eyed. I was like, my God, this is amazing. So what I did was I took some notes, right? I took some notes, and there's a particular chapter here that really caught my attention. And it speaks to me because it's currently kind of where I am at in my journey, right? And I'm gonna go through each chapter, the 7 rules, but this particular chapter and the steps that she gives are amazing. So this is rule number 6. This is the rule that stood out to me, right? And it's called keep it real, okay? Now the quote she has here is, how to close the gap between what you're saying and what you're actually doing. Now, the thing about it is, you, just like I said in my previous video, you have to know how to read yourself. You gotta know how to keep it real with yourself. And that's why this chapter spoke to me, because sometimes we get caught up in these fairy tales, and we think that we're doing something and we're really not. And time passes you by, and one day something wakes you up and you're like, wait, I really haven't been moving. No, you haven't. You haven't gone anywhere, because this is a number one reason. You haven't been keeping it real with yourself. And I always tell you guys this, as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself, because I am a strong believer in you being your own toughest critic. I am a strong believer in you being your own toughest critic, and you doing what you need to do in order to continuously grow and develop yourself. Self-development is key. And a part of self-development is being able to keep it real with yourself. So this chapter spoke to my soul, okay? So that chapter is about the gap between taking action. Okay, that chapter is about the gap between talking and taking action, right? So before I speak about that, I want to go over the 7 rules that she gives. The 7 rules of power, confidence, and opportunity for Black women in America. The 7 rules of power, confidence, and opportunity for Black women in America. Let's talk about this, right? So, rule number 1 is to identify your superpower, right? We talked about that. We talked about you were born with a priceless gift. Find your superpower, own it, and leverage it to the best of your ability, right? That's rule number 1, to find your superpower. Rule number 2, right, is to find your next level friends. That resonated with me so much. And, you know, quick detour, I'm actually in the process of reading my 2nd book. And this is gonna actually be a series. As you can see in the title, this series is gonna be called A Box of Books. I have it written down on my whiteboard. This series is gonna be called Box of Books, right? So I finished reading this book. I'm actually on my 2nd book. And I found a comparison between both books, and they're both written by successful Black women. And the correlation that I found between this book and that book is that with successful Black women, friendships mean a lot. Your network means a lot. it means a lot. And that they are both successful Black women. And something that stood out to me was that both of them discuss friendships and next level friendships and creating a network and sisterhood of like-minded women around you that can help you take your business or take your ideas or take your talents to the next level. So sisterhood and having a network of next level friends is super, super important. And that is something that I learned through reading this book. Okay? So rule number 2 is find your next level friends. Surround yourself with friends who energize you, motivate you, inspire you, open doors for you, and make your world bigger. That's amazing. You know, y'all get into this. Get into it. And I'll leave the link to this book down below in the description box. If you would like to purchase it, go ahead and purchase it. Once you're done reading, leave me a comment down below and let me know how you felt about this book. This book is truly amazing and I recommend it. Rule number 3 is mindset is everything. Expand your horizons. Expand your horizons. Expand your mind with travel, networking, mentoring, and other hidden opportunities. Focus on the solutions, not the problems. Focus on the solutions and not the problems. Right? So the time that we spend focusing on our problems, focusing on, why is this friendship or relationship not working? Why can't I have this or why can't I get this? No, you figure out a solution. Maybe that friendship isn't working because you've outgrown them. Maybe you can't get this thing that you want because you're not working hard enough, because you haven't set up a strategy or a plan on how you're going to execute or be able to get this thing that you want so bad. So expand your horizons. And also another thing I took from that is to do new things, travel, network. And those are kind of things, networking was something that was really hard for me, but I found my calling with my community, Boss Babe Cartel, and it has really, really pushed me to engage, connect, learn, and network with women from all different kinds of industries, all kinds of, backgrounds. So thank God that he blessed me with Boss Babe Cartel, because it has truly been amazing. And I can attest to the fact of having a network of women that support you. It really does help in your growth. It really, really does. And reading this book reiterated that to me. And it was like a refresher on making sure that I keep my network strong. So yeah. So that was rule number 3. Rule number 4 is magnetize your money. I'm gonna say that again. Magnetize your money. So in rule number 4, in chapter number 4, she spoke about how to create all the money you need through grants, sponsors, scholarships, and entrepreneurial gold. She talked about bossing up your resume, building up your skill sheet, and once again, expanding your horizons, right? And this is one that I love, that I always talk about within my community, is building your skill set. Or as I like to say, taking inventory of your skills, which they kind of go hand in hand. You want to make sure that you're always acquiring, new skills, you're learning new things, and even this series, Box of Books, is a part of me acquiring new skills, because I'm learning new things. As I read these books, I'm acquiring knowledge. I am gaining knowledge from reading. So this is an investment in my self-development. I'm acquiring new skills. I'm learning new things. As I read these books ignite something. I may see something and I may say, okay, let me go research this. Let me figure out how this works. Voila, boom, you have a new skill set, right? So really invest in self-development and take inventory of your skills. There may be some things that you are really talented at, that you really enjoy doing, that you're highly skilled at, but you're not considering it or looking at it as a way for you to be able to make money. You know, take inventory of your skills. Sit down. I recently did a virtual meet and greet with my community, and I literally told them the same exact thing. Sit down, take a pencil and paper, and write down all of your skills. Every skill set that you have, write it down. Look at it and figure out how you can monetize those skills. Or as Miss Karen says, magnetize your money, right? And like I said, she talked about different ways that you can acquire, funds through grants, sponsors, scholarships. There are so many different ways for you to get access to cash flow. Whether you want to invest in yourself, your business, buy a car, purchase a home, whatever you want to do, there is funding out there for us, for women of color. There's funding out there. You just have to have your ear to the streets and stay connected with powerful women like Miss Karen and so many others. And I have their books back there, and I will keep y'all in the loop, okay? I will let y'all know what's going on in the minds of these powerful women, all right? So rule number 5, position yourself like a star, right? So she talks about in this chapter, in rule number 5, chapter 5, she talks about self-presentation. She talks about how to style yourself. She talks about promote yourself with elegance and how to feel amazingly confident. What I want to do is I want to go to chapter 5 because this was a chapter that I also enjoyed. And I want to read a little bit of it for you guys. So, like I said, chapter 5 is position yourself like a star. I know the words might be backwards for you guys. I apologize. So the quote that she has here is, the secrets of self-presentation, how to style yourself, promote yourself with elegance, and feel amazingly confident, right? So let's see, where do I want to begin? She says, do you want to command attention, land that promotion, dazzle an audience, or score that big gig? Talent, intelligence, and personal conviction count, but you've got to package yourself powerfully. From your clothes, to your message, to your posture, that's how you'll seal the deal. Approach everything you do as if you're auditioning for the starring role. Channel your inner Ciara, B, Carrie, Taraji, Michelle, and O. It might sound silly, but practice walking across your bedroom with Queen Bee level confidence and grace. Walk, 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 and pose. Be you, be authentic, be unapologetic. When you walk into a room, let every inch of your body say, I'm here. Take 5 steps across the room and pretend you're walking onto a TV set for your big interview, right? Pretend you're walking into the White House. Pretend you're walking on stage to give a speech at the Essence Festival. How would you walk? How would you wave? How would you smile? How would you carry yourself in that moment? Practice until it doesn't feel silly, until it feels real and right. Now, ladies, you can't tell me that is gold. female entrepreneurs, business women, career women, wherever you are in your journey, that is gold. Self-presentation, confidence, believing that you are the ish. It matters. And when I read that part gave me the idea for this video. I said that I wanted to do like a box of book series, but when I read this, it set the tone for how I wanted to approach this series, right? So confidence is really important. Confidence is super important. So that was rule number 5, positioning yourself like a star. Make sure that your self-presentation is together. You know how to style yourself. You promote yourself with elegance. And you feel amazingly confident while doing it all, honey. So rule number 6 is the rule that we talked about. Keep it real, right? We talked about keeping it real, and we talked about why rule number 6 or chapter 6 was my favorite. And in that chapter, she talks about how to close the gap between what you're saying and what you're actually doing, right? And like I said, I'm really big on being your own self-critic and really working on yourself. So rule number 6, keeping it real, is something that I gotta stay on myself every day. I gotta keep it real with myself. And sometimes that's not easy. But life is never gonna be easy. So do you prefer to go out into the world and have, a CFO or a CEO or someone, in charge of your career, or, you go to a bank and you try to get a loan and they tell you that, your credit's not good enough. Your resume is outdated. What kind of skills do you have? Who are you? Why should we do business with you? Or why should we, give you this opportunity? Why do you want to be a part of our company? Why? So basically what I'm saying is, before you go out into the world and be disappointed, you might as well look into the mirror and disappoint yourself now. Do it in your room behind closed doors. Keep it real with yourself. Keep it real, so that when your face hits the sun and your 6-inch heels hit that pavement, honey, you are ready to conquer the world. You have done the self-work. You're constantly evolving. You're consciously self-developing. And I'm not saying that there's nothing that anyone can tell you. Always be open and receptive. But at least you know that you're doing your part in your journey, right? So that's rule number 6, keeping it real. We're going to go back to that actually, because I have some more notes I want to touch on. So the last rule, or the last chapter, is give back from day one. And this is something that I'm really, really big on within my community, within Boss Babe Cartel. I'm super big on giving back. So no matter what it is, I always try to find ways to give back, whether it's like purchasing from a small business, or planting a small seed or a small donation with someone. Like, find ways to give back. No matter where you are in your journey or what you can or can't afford, there's always a way to give back. And she discusses that and goes into details on so many different ways that you can give back. And that's ultimately a part of being successful. If you want to be successful, if you want your business to flourish, if you want an unlimited, source of blessings and abundance in your life, you have to give back. You have to. So find a cause that you love. Find something that, that hits you in the gut, something that you want to, be a part of, and invest your time there. Invest, whatever you can, whether it's a monetary investment or your time, your love, your dedication, whatever it is. Always find a way, like she said, to give back from day one, right? So she talks about, don't wait to serve. Become a mentor. Share what you've learned. Like I said, champion a cause, right? Help other women rise. So there's always something for you to do no matter what it is. There's always a way for you to give back. So before I end this video, I want to go back to rule number 6. Keep it real, right? Where she talks about how to close the gap between what you're saying and what you're doing, right? So in that chapter, she breaks down 7 things that you can do to start taking action, right? To start closing that gap between what you say and what you're doing, right? And I want to go ahead and I want to read a little bit of this chapter to you. So, okay. Let me go ahead. I'm going to read this first page to you guys so that you can get a feel of why I fell in love with rule number 6 and why rule number 6 is so important to me. So it begins. I founded the Miss Black USA pageant back in 1986. Since that year, I've had conversations with over 1,000 young women. Conversations about their aspirations, their education, their future goals, everything they want to be and achieve. I'm constantly encouraging women to think bigger. I'm the queen of preaching dream big. Of course, it's easy to talk about big dreams, but it's harder to walk the talk and put your dreams into action and move towards your goals. Now, don't get me wrong. Talking big and dreaming a big life are the beginnings to every earth-shaking action that ever took place throughout history and always will be. Talking things out is the first step towards building your next level life. Unfortunately, most people are unable to move beyond the big talk and launch into action. That's because they probably think their dreams and goals of their dreams and goals as these huge undertakings and put unnecessary pressure on themselves to get from A to Oprah instantly, right? Many of us do that. But Oprah wasn't built in a day. Don't expect to reach your goal overnight, right? The key to closing the gap between your dreams and your reality is to break down what you're saying you want to do eventually into easily attainable chunks of action that you can do right now. I'm going to say that again. So break down what you're saying you want to do eventually into easily attainable chunks of action that you can do right now. Here are my steps to 7 recommendations on how to close the gap between what you're saying and what you're actually doing, right? So she gives you steps on how you can go from just talking it and start walking it, okay? So the first one is to create a 90-day roadmap, right? So here she talks about creating a 90-day roadmap. Basically ask yourself, what can I do in the next 90 days to get closer to my dream, right? So it's time to set clear intentions. It's time to get very clear about what it is that you want to accomplish. Your short-term and your long-term goals, right? But to make it easier and make it more attainable, do 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever works for you. Rule number 2, focus on what you can do today. What can you do today to get closer to your goals? For me, today, my goal was getting this video recorded. So they don't have to be really big goals. Your goals don't have to be super big. They can be really simple, really attainable, really achievable goals, right? But just focus on what you can do today to get closer to where it is that you want to be in your journey. Start scheduling action steps on your calendar. So actually start being intentional, taking the steps to really incorporate these steps into your lifestyle, right? And that means getting a whiteboard, getting a calendar, using your reminders, you know. Number 4, celebrate small victories. Now, this is something that I don't do, that I'm realizing I will need to start, because I am the kind of person that will work. I will, you know, drown myself in my goals and in my ambitions. And when I accomplish something, or when I hit, you know, a threshold in my, you know, entrepreneurial journey, I don't recognize myself. I just feel like, oh, well, it happened, let me move on. No. Sometimes I gotta tell myself, like, Ashley, that's a really big deal. Like I spoke about in my life update, you know, last year I had no idea how I was gonna transition from an online-based business to now a product-based business. You know, I wrote down and manifested how I wanted to offer physical products. Now I have merch. I have, you know, my notebooks that I'm releasing. I have created digital products now. So, you know, celebrate the small victories, set intentional goals, focus on what you can accomplish today, right? That's it. Number 5 is to make it fun. Make your journey fun. You know, for me, YouTube is something that's fun for me. And on top of that, YouTube for me is, I use it as a vessel to improve my communication skills. So as I'm recording this video, yes, it's fun. I enjoy it. I love YouTube, but I'm also working on how to present myself and how to communicate my point and my mannerisms and how I move my hands and how I project my voice. So make it fun. That's something that I enjoy. I enjoy perfecting how I communicate, so that when I get to where I want to be in life, I can sit in the room with the best of them and hold an amazing conversation. That's fun to me, you know. So find what is fun to you. And that's not the only thing that's fun to me. I know y'all like, that's boring as hell, you just saying that because of the video. No, those are things I enjoy. I love talking. I remember growing up, everyone would tell me, girl, be quiet, you talk too much. I love talking, and you never know, that may be my $1 million bag. You know, you never know. So I want to perfect my communication skills, okay? But so she talks about making it fun, right? Number 6 is make forgiveness a daily ritual. Oh my goodness. I know that all of us can relate to this, whether it's forgiving ourselves or forgiving someone else. I got a new subscriber on YouTube and she left a really nice comment. So girl, shout out to you. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and thank you for your amazing content on my Ulta makeup haul. I love you. Thank you. Okay. So like I was saying, make forgiveness a daily ritual. Like I said, whether it's forgiving ourselves or forgiving other people that may have wronged us, forgiveness is something that we tend to forget about, and we fester and harbor whatever it is within us, and that's not good. It's not good at all. It will eventually affect you mentally, spiritually, even physically. When you harbor, you know, animosity or some type of energy within you that's just not resolved. You don't want to live your life like that. I think that if you're consciously on a journey to self-discovery and consciously on a journey to like self-improvement, then definitely focus on...
Change the sky.
Huh?
Change the sky.
I know, I'm almost done, okay?
Okay.
So like I was saying, when you're, you know, in your bag, when you're trying to get to that next level life, definitely make forgiveness a daily ritual. And last but not least, stay open-minded. Stay open-minded, okay? These were some really, really good steps, really attainable and achievable steps to taking action and closing the gap between talking and doing, right? So the last one is stay open-minded. And here's what she says in the last rule, rule number 7 of the steps, right? So it's great to make plans, but sometimes God, the universe, whatever term you prefer, has a different set of plans for you. And sometimes as you're walking down your path, new opportunities arise and sometimes as you're walking down your path, new opportunities arise that you never even considered, right? So, like I was saying, and those were the 7 steps that she gave within chapter number 6, Keep It Real. So yeah, create a 90-day plan. Focus on what you can do today. Start scheduling your action steps on your calendar. Celebrate your small wins. Make it fun. Make forgiveness a daily ritual. And stay open-minded. And at the end of the book, she asks a few questions. And that's another reason I really, really enjoy this book. Because at the end, she gives you space to kind of vent and tell your story and express yourself. And it's amazing. So a few of the questions that she asks at the end of the book are, what are your superpowers? How can you leverage these powers to get to your next level life? And I want you guys to either write these questions down or think about them, you know. So that question was, how can you leverage these powers to get to your next level life? What are your goals for the near future? What are your steps for getting there? Who are your friends and mentors? Who can help you get there? How can you attract more money in your life? What does keeping it real mean to you? So that sums up this book review. Miss Karen Arrington, mentor, philanthropist, and founder of the Miss Black USA pageant. Ma'am, thank you. Queen, thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been a phenomenal read. Amazing. Like I said, I have already followed her on Instagram. I'll leave her Instagram down below in the description box. And I'll also leave the link to this book down below as well. Ladies, if this is something that you would be interested in reading, go ahead and purchase it. You know, don't allow your mind to get the best of you. If you have to do what I did and purchase a box of books, honey, go ahead and do it. I don't regret it. I think I spent about $145 on books, and I'm gonna read every single one, and I'm gonna be here with Box of Book series telling y'all all about them. All right, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Please leave this video a big thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. I love you guys, and I thank you so much for being here. Hold on. I want to show you guys what I'm reading next. Hold on. So this is the book that I am on now. And as you can see, I'm actually almost done. This book is amazing. I feel like these two women put together are like my ultimate mentors. Like, they could get me together, okay? They can get me together. But stay tuned for the next Box of Book series. If you're interested in learning, or if you're interested in finding out you know, what I think about this book. So, Miss Karen, thank you, Queen. And once again, like I said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I am gone. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Yeah, the night is the darkest. Pray that you need me. I pray that you want this.